Hello, my fellow readers. It is I, Dark Symphony 777, with finally the top 10 fanfictions of 2023. Yes, it's been a very, very long year. Over 100 fanfictions I have done this year, more than any other. As always, a link to the story will be in the description below. Well, a link to the stories will be in the description below in case you want to read them. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, click on that bell for notifications, leave a comment in the comment section below. And finally, if there's any fanfiction you thought should have been on this list, leave them in the comments. I'm actually want to hear what fanfictions you think should be on the top 10 and why. But let's get started with number 10. Koinichi by Karen19. This is an interesting story. I mainly put Koinichi here for the creativity behind it. The whole, for those of you who don't know, this was a Kim Possible fan fiction, and it was written in the sense of being written like a movie rather than a story. And the execution of that idea is really well done. The first time I read it years and years ago, I never realized, it kind of somewhat went over my head until like halfway through the story. So I actually went back to the beginning and read it with that mindset, and I realized, wow, that's amazing. It goes from a okay-ish story to a really good story. And I really like the characters. I liked Yori. I like the Ishimura twins. I like Kimiko. I liked God dang it. What was the girl's name? What was her? God dang it. I cannot remember it. The girl that goes with should be here. Oh god. Hoshi, there he is. Hoshi was a hoot. She was a very, very entertaining character. I loved everything, the build up to the finale, the fact that Yori technically had to kill her father, and then we get the finale where Kimiko kind of lets them go so that way she can, because she's so battle worn that she basically lets her life be taken, and it's really, really good. I can't put it any higher. I at least wanted to get it up to number 9, but I can't because it's the writing style is a blessing and a curse. I understand the author really wanted to do something creative here. That's fair. I'm not gonna shame the author for doing something offbeat. The author wanted to do something creative. The author wanted to do something cool, and it's good. And the idea is good, but at the same time, the fact that it's still such a turnoff that you need a specific mindset in order to understand the story. That being said, it was good enough to make number 10. Barely. I'll talk about that when I get to near number 1. But this story, well worth your time. All these stories well worth your time. Let's go to number 9. Hey, yeah, this is the surprise. This is the first surprise. I remembered when I was working through. It's like I'm putting this story here. Am I? Yeah, I'm putting the story in here. For those of you who know, this is a prequel to the Paper Chopper trilogy. Paper Choppers 1 and 2 are 2 of the worst fan fictions I have ever read. They are so horrendous. The Chopper is just a blatant Gary Stew. There's barely any urgency. You don't care about Chopper's journey. You don't care about him as a character. You don't care about the villains as characters. You don't care about any of his partners as characters. everyone just has that vibe of they're there, and there's no threat level. There's nothing. I don't care. But then you get this story. You get this story, which is monumentally entertaining. It's still number 9, so it's not as good as everything after what's going to come after it. But the fact that this is probably the best implementation of like game mechanics for this author, I just want to say, game mechanics are going to be brought up a lot. Trust me on this. It's going to be brought up a few times. I like the sort of pseudo soft reboot plot because I know for a fact from the author that Chopper is going to be like rebooting into like a Saturday morning cartoon sort of deal. So I think this was kind of the way to do it. I like the idea of Chopper, a little kid, being able to get over his grief. It's done very realistically. I actually care about Chopper's journey because this is more or less just him wandering around, just trying to save what essentially is his new home, and the fact that there's like no one else. It's literally just Chopper, so it's like over time you just basically care more and more about Chopper. It does not this game. This story does borrow a lot of elements from the Kirby franchise, the copy abilities, the boss subtitles, everything, but it works because something I brought up in the Chopper stories is the fact that Chopper kind of weirdly fits with Kirby, and this story pretty much proved that it can work with the Kirby stuff, so I don't really mind the Kirby stuff as much as the like Sonic and Mario stuff. That's just me. And the fact it does foreshadow the big plot point in Super Paper Chopper. I don't mind any of that. What's holding it back is the simple fact that at the end of the day, this retcons some stuff. And not in a good way. I get the feeling that the author wanted to try and also make this sort of the starting point of the reboot. That's just what I remember. That's just the vibe from what I remember of this story. It's like the author wanted Chopper Clara to kind of be like the final farewell. Like, okay, here's an origin story of Chopper. Give us like as much as you can for depth and all that stuff, while at the same time kind of setting up the stage for the reboot. But it still doesn't. It still kind of retcons a lot of stuff because it introduces a character that's never mentioned in the story, despite the fact he's like very essential to Chopper's character arc. There's the evil city that Chopper destroys. That's not really brought up. There's just a volcanic area in that set. I can kind of forgive that. A lot of the villains are kind of underwhelming. There are some characters that are really well written, but then there are some like Tornado that are just like could have done more with them. I think it's just a 50-50 in terms of like not a 50-50. Like it's 90% of it is 95% of it is good, but then there's that 5% that kind of just drags it back to ninth place. It's still a solid story. I don't have any complaints about this besides some of the villains being underwhelming, but this is gonna be tight, except for the final two. Those are gonna be the tightest. Number 8. Case number 7 of the Hifu Detective Agency. Now you're wondering, wait a minute, you didn't review the story. Technically I did. I reviewed stories 1 to 7 of the Hifu Detective Agency. I know for a fact Case 8 and 9 are actually out. So retroactively, those are done too. I'm probably gonna read those as well and kind of. But since they're gonna be retroactively added to the Hifu Detective Agency story, I may just do like a second half to them. I don't know for sure, but this is the one based off Scarlet Weather Rhapsody that introduces Iku and her dance, Iku and her dancing, Tensi Hiramami and her like. At least they didn't introduce like the whole masochist angle thing with Tenchi, considering the fact she's like a kid. Mentally, she's a kid. Physically, she's like I think like 16, 17. Still kind of a weird thing, but okay. It introduces a big plot point with the story doing a lot of heavy teases of of the possibility that there may be more to Maribel Hearn's connection to Yukari than just Yukari being Maribel. There's a whole Ouroboros aspect to it. There's a lot. This story does a lot of heavy lifting in the war. That's probably going to be solved in like the second half of the story. But this story just, and the fact there's like a lot of comedy moments with Sane, like messing around with everyone, and like Renko just completely just getting like having to deal with this shit. It's like, hey, why is she so crazy? Now you know how I felt. Shut up, Maribel. Shut up. No. Now let me headbutt you. Okay. There's less. You can see Renko like looking there. It's like, yes, I smug. Deal with it. But this story is really well done. I think a large part of why I like this one is the mystery aspect, the whole connection between Maribel and Yukari, and the whole is Yukari Maribel or is she not? I think that's played very perfectly here. The whole like I said, the whole comedy aspects with Sane, everything kind of being like falling apart around Renko as she's like the whole start of like the entire main character arc of Renko, where like everyone's just starting this point that everyone in the series is actually starting to just really get annoyed by Renko's problems with like being curious about everything, and that's really starting to come to the forefront. Again, that's probably going to become more important in subterranean animism and UFO. But this is where it starts, where like Kine is like completely just getting sick and tired of Renko just constantly leaving school and abandoning the kids just to save her own curiosity. And I hope that it becomes more and more important as the story goes on, because that's more or less showing Shikieki's prediction true. Like, well, if she keeps continuing on this path, she's going to basically drag everyone down with her to like their deaths. But this story as itself is only really important with Renko. Like, you need everything to do with Maribel specifically is probably going to be solved in the future stories. I'll show you right here. Like, here's subterranean animism and here's UFO. And I think this is really well done. I don't have anything more to say about this. Number 6. Longest day, longest night. Yes, you better believe we're going to get some Luniverse in this top 10. Literally, like, almost a half of the stories of this year were Luniverse related. So, of course, there was going to be one or two that was going to appear on this list. And Longest Night, Longest Day was actually one of them. Yeah, there's spoilers. Going to be a second one. So this is technically, chronologically, the starting point of the Luniverse, where Trixie Lunamoon and Lyra Heartstrings, they basically go to Ponyville to set up the Longest Night celebration. Trixie meets all the other eventual Lunaverse elements of harmony, with like Charlie and Derpy and Carrot Top and Raindrops. There it is. I almost forgot Raindrops. And the whole different vibe of the whole thing, the more adult thing, like Trixie getting drunk, calling out Luna, Charlie basically doing sex jokes on Corona, which is like a corrupted celestial, like, you can sit on me any day. Yes. Yes. Take it. Yes. I could. I don't know why I did that, but I like to. This is a very comedic story. It does take. I with the difference between this one and the original My Little Pony. This one has a more adult tone to it, where Trixie's more dealing with like political ramifications, and honestly, the fact that she's like worried that this was a demotion, and it covers more adult material than what My Little Pony Friendship with Magic does. I don't I don't have much to say about it because it's a starting story in anything. I know this is not technically the first story of the universe that was written, that was most busted, but this is a great starting point. It does what it needs to do, and I can't. It's an overall really really solid story. 10, 9, 8, okay. 10, 9, 8, 6. Shadow Chasers, Risen Nemesis by Lex Nero, or if you want to call him by his YouTube name, Manga Common. This is this is a very entertaining story. I love the world of Las Vegas. I love the implementation of like characters from fiction. I love Common as an original character, hence why the name Manga Common is just yeah. I like the duels. I think this is some of the best duels. I think only Tournament of Shadows had better duels. Uh, the only complaint I had was the villain of the second arc was really underwhelming. I still maintain my claim that I think if the final villain, the mayor of New York, was built up at least a little bit better, this might actually have been like third or second place, because but that is just the fact that the only problem is the villain just just there. He's really just there. Anything else, I don't have anything more to say. It's an overall solid story. It's a really really good story. But the best part of the story is the characters. These stories had really great characters. Ace, Hyde, the Where Ermine, the werewolf guy, the what was the name of that shadow, the one with the sand, and it's like, my strength makes me cry. Your strength makes me cry. I still want to see a sequel with that character. Their strength makes me cry. I Axis Co Tucker, 5300 attack makes me cry. Now I'm losing. This is just an entertaining story. This is not a super serious story. It does have serious parts, but overall, not every story needs to be like this deep super thing. This is just here's a dumb fuck of a story that's just revolving around everyone playing a children's card game to solve everything. Let's do this. All right. Duel. Okay. So now, number 5. Yep. Yep. Were you expecting? Were you expecting anything else when I said this story, the last fan fiction of the year, was anything else other than really great? I love this fan fiction. I don't really have anything more to say about it that I didn't already say in my review of it. I think this video is going to come out after that video. Yeah, it's going to be coming out after that video. I really love the implementation of incorporating the first page of the original comic and the first page of Bowser's Saga. I still would recommend reading Bowser's Saga mainly just to understand why Peach let Mario go. It's in the second page. You don't have to worry. It's not going to go that far. You don't have to go that far. And also, you need to read the comic to fully understand Bowser's mindset throughout the entire thing. But I think this is a great story. It's a very cliche rom-com, but it's a really, really well done cliche rom-com. I don't have anything more to say besides read the story. Read the story. I'm not. I just watch the previous video. Number 4. Yeah, we're back. We're back with Defective Agency Mountain of Fate, the one that introduces Kanako, Suwako, Sane. The whole reveal that of Renko losing. This one's just very entertaining because there's so many moving parts. They have to personally get involved. This actually starts the entire main plot of what's going to happen everything afterwards. Like with Scarlet Weather Rhapsody starts the whole thing of people getting tired of Renko. This story starts the whole thread of Renko starting to sink everyone in around her that Shiki Ekiu showed in Phantasmagoria. I like all the characters. Suwako and Kanako portray a very, very hospitable parental figures. The fact that Renko is just full out wrong in this story. Yeah, spoiler alert, she loses in this story because she gets half of the stuff wrong, and Kanako's this is the facts, here's the proof. Oh, no! I lost! And of course we get the ending where Sane, they ask Sane to join other groups, I want friends! It's please be different, please let her join you. Okay, we'll let you join. Sane's a really lovable ball of nature. Renko and Maribel are they're just kind of in the side, so it's wondering, oh please, can we stop this? Reimu shows up, it's these gods, they're about to throw some hands. And Renko's all right, we're gonna stop this. I'm gonna stop this. Do you want some hands? No, I want to peacefully solve this. You're gonna get these hands. Okay, I'll walk away. It's a great story. This is another great story. I don't have it's just everything. Granted, a large part of the story is literally carried by Kanako and Suwako. They pretty much they carry this. Those two carried the story. All praise the frog goddess. Get it. Number 3, the hero. Oh, and yeah, we're back in Luniverse. The best Luniverse story. I said it before, I'll say it again. This is a great story. Ignore the fact that they're humans. I don't know why they're humans. They're ponies. The whole idea of Trixie trying to become humble through everything kind of falling apart around her. The city of Ouden is a really, really cool idea. The whole mystery aspect of it. It's it makes me wonder why there's no mystery aspect. There's not really any villains. It's just more or less just a group of a multiple group of people that that are just trying to help, but they're kind of villains, but they're also kind of not. The final climax with them kind of literally all going into a repository of evil energy created to worship Tirek, and the energy coalescing into their fears to get them to stop chanting the engine. The fact that the villain technically won, but he's he can't celebrate it because he's literally in a coma, possibly forever, or possibly gonna die in the said coma. All the characters are really well written. I love Trixie. Raindrops is a really good character. This story finally explores Cheerilee after Cheerilee's was the odd one out. She was the one that was why don't I get my own story? There you go. You got the best story. Like, yay! And we get to see like the backstories of Charlie interacting with the corrupt nobles, being like a troublemaker. All the plans, all the writing is off the charts. Everyone's like constantly double back talking each other. There's a lot of sass in this story that is just so entertaining to read between like Trixie and Raindrop and Trixie and Sawdust. It's a all the mystery. It's just and also like the friend that Charlie's trying to save. And Coppercoin is a believable villain. Is like he doesn't really care much about the corrupt noble stuff. He just wants to save his sister. And it's really well done. I can't say anything more. So before I get to number 2, I want to give a couple shout outs to stories I think deserve to be talked about. First off, the Better Off Alone tier stories. That being Mind Your Manners by Thomas Behavior and Total Drama Endless by Nondescript Nover. I really want to put these stories in, but since I can't because they're too good, granted, if you want to think about it, maybe like the tier 0, Endless, nothing really came close to Endless in terms of quality. Endless was just a literal masterpiece. I can't deny it, but they're more or less just like they're the god tier, and this is like no, these are like I want to see these guys. I also want to give 2 shout outs to what was it? Yes. Okay, so S. And yeah. 2 more Lunaverse stories. Musicians and Dreamers and Out the Grand Galloping Gala. These are really, really well done Lunaverse stories, and I think next to Hero Own, they are the best. And Longest Day, Long Night. I was legitimately split on Longest Day, Longest Night, and At the Grand Galloping Gala, but I think the Grand Galloping Gala had like too many contrivances to really put it in. Think about it, I almost consider 3 Lunaverse stories. I think Grand Galloping Gala did not have enough to warrant even putting it number 10. So yeah. So the final 2 stories. So I was really split on these 2. Because these stories are really good. And I won't be mad if you say, well, I prefer number 2 to be number 1 and number 1 to be number 2. These stories are good. These stories are amazing. Number 2, If Despair Never Ended. The Danganronpa story. I barely knew anything about Danganronpa, and this story just hooked me. Everything about the story was top notch. Makuro's whole character arc, her shedding the Junko skin and her being her character, the use of the game mechanics are really well done, showing like the trial process and all that. A lot of the more comedic moments with Monokuma is really well done. The very well done foreshadowing of Celeste being Junko is well done because like the whole bra thing. Like, wait a minute, you got bra? Why is your bra so big? Like, maybe. Toko and Genocide Jack were good. Byakuya was really well done. Like their friendship with Aoi and Sakura and Mondo and Hiro, all the characters are really well done, and it all floats in like the idea of Makuro finally getting her independence, her individuality is a really well done and well respected message that I makes me want to read this again. But I gotta give it to the one story that I didn't expect to be this good. Ladies and gentlemen, Number one. Soak it in. Soak it in. Just breathe it in. Just breathe. Just look at it. Look at it. Look at that insanity. Super fucking paper chopper. I legitimately was not expecting this story to be number one. Like, do you want to know why I gave this story number one over If Despair Never Ended? Because I walked into starting this story with like so low expectations that I legitimately thought this story was never going to be good. Like that is something that is a shame on me because Paper Chopper was horrendous. Paper Chopper Crystal Stars was horrendous, so I thought, well, Super is going to be horrendous. And then I read it, and I kept reading it, and I was completely blown away by just what this story did. Where is there to start? There's the worst part of the story, Shade Doom as a side villain, is still really good. He shouldn't be a side villain. We finally get a reason to care about Chopper's journey. We finally get a reason to care about him. It's like an all-star cast. Him, that Mobian Cat OC, Sonic, Kirby, Mario, all just teaming up. And it never feels out of place. It never feels forced. All the villains are very, very comedic. Even Shade Doom's appropriately dark with a random reference to the Castle Crashers. Tipral is literally the GOAT. Come on. I put him come on. I put Tipral and so as one of the best original characters. Just on the strength of Super. That is crazy. The fights are well done. They don't stretch too long, and they have lots of personality. It's a very comedic story, but when it gets dark, it pretty much hammers into your head. Yeah, shit's getting real. It's a very well-paced story. It's over 1 million words, and not one point did it ever feel like it was dragging on. That is, the Mechanical Oven just literally deserves praise just for that alone. The fact that he was able to write this many words, granted, it's probably around less than a million, probably less than 1.2 million, but still managed to write it in a way that kept your attention throughout the entire time. And it never let it go. With the Danganronpa story, I walked in with no expectations. So I was I didn't know if it was going to be good. I didn't know if it was going to be bad. With this story, I was 100% willing to just completely just trash it as bad. Say it's going to be just as bad as Crystal Star. It's going to be just as bad as Paper Chopper. And then this story just completely, just utterly, completely blew away the very low expectations. This story deserves the number one spot. And I think when I said this at the beginning of the year, if it wasn't for Shade Doom, this story wouldn't even be on this video. Because it would barely tip over the Better Off Alone tier. That shows you how much he got right with this story. Just how well he got from a character standpoint, from a plot standpoint, from a writing standpoint, he went on a rampage with this. I cannot speak highly enough of this story, of how well done it is, and the fact that this happened to be the first story of the year, and it's just wow. Dustin's coming close to this, and then Endless shows up. It's like, oh well, there, bud. This is like borderline Better Off Alone tier. Now Endless just goes like, see you later, suckers. But yeah, Super Paper Chopper is the best fan fiction of the year. Non Better Off Alone tier fan fiction. And honestly, Mechanical Oven, you deserve this. You wholeheartedly deserve this. But that's gonna be it for this video. This has been Dark Symphony 777 and cut. And I hope to see you next year with the next fanfiction, which will be Pleasant Meadows and Tengu Misfortune.